Most business owners start a business and they just bring their whole job mentality with them. They avoid building systems, they avoid what's needed, and so they need to make a shift. You need to treat your business like a prototype that you can replicate again and again and again, and you need to build systems so the business can run without you. If you want to shift into total freedom, you need to shift from a technician to a manager, but even go further to an entrepreneur. I'm Chris Duncan, and this is Self-Made Millionaire. If you've done all the courses, meditated, journaled, healed your inner child, but are still feeling stuck, you're not alone. After helping thousands of driven entrepreneurs like you, I discovered the real shift isn't in fixing yourself. It's in creating from your superconscious. This podcast will help you to break the loop, stop oscillating, and finally build a business that gives you time, wealth, and true freedom without burning out. Let's dive in. Most people start a business to have more control and freedom, but they find themselves in a glorified job with more stress and less money. I know I did. I remember around about 7 years ago, I found myself going for a walk at about 10 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. And I just got back from Singapore where I'd run a big business event telling everyone how great I was at business and everything and how amazing I was going. But I came back to this reality where I had an ATO, a tax bill that was unexpected. I had 2 gyms, 3 hair salons, a digital marketing agency, a school, a consciousness training, and I'm sure I had a property business thrown in there as well as a multi-level marketing company. On the outside, I was making millions and millions of dollars, but on the inside, I was just completely stressed and completely trapped. And so I went for this walk, and I actually walked down in Tweed Heads in the Gold Coast, and I sat down on this little park bench, and these 2 guys walked down in front of me, and it was a Tuesday morning, and they were just being loud, and I just wanted peace and quiet. I was jet lagged, I was tired, I was, frustrated, things were going wrong, I had all these fires to put out, it was no fun at all. And these guys are walking, they're making noise, and I was just annoyed at them. And they walked down, and they were going fishing, and they just looked like 2 guys that were up to nothing in life. And I'm judging them, like a complete asshole. I'm just judging them. I'm like, what are they doing on a Tuesday morning down here? Go get a job. Anyway, so luckily they stopped right in front of me, and that's where they decided to go fishing. And they're having the best time. They are laughing with freedom. And I hear them say to the other one, mocking people who were desk jockeys who didn't know and have what they had. And through their conversation, I realized that both of them just work at a local caravan park. They're making no money. They have no stress. But then I realized they have more freedom than me. And I'm sitting there kind of having these 2 people coach me because they had more freedom than me. Here I was traveling around the world, not spending time with my family, stressed out with, a dozen different businesses with headaches everywhere and absolutely no freedom. And there they were, and they had what I wanted. And so I sat there and thought, I need to make a change. Within 2 months, I'd offloaded all the businesses that weren't performing and refocused on what really mattered to me. This refocus meant that I got rid of 2 gyms, 3 hair salons, an agency, a whole portfolio of businesses, basically for nothing. And I refocused on an education business. I built this education business in the next 18 months, and I ended up selling that a few years later for a massive, massive victory, completely changing my financial future. But it wasn't just selling the business that was great. It was that I chose to make the business run and work without me. And I was making hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month with a business that worked without my time. In fact, I put in about 30 minutes a month total over that period. And so the problem is most people leave their job thinking they're going to become entrepreneurs and become free. But what they do is they just become self-employed to themselves. They end up with a glorified job and they don't have any freedom at all. They bring the skills of being an employee, and they just swap the boss that they don't like for themselves being a boss. They're self-employed and they think their boss is a bit of an asshole. And so they work harder for less freedom. They've confused a job with owning a business. And this happens, as Michael Gerber says in the E-Myth, of an entrepreneurial seizure. Somebody who's good at doing something as a technician, they suddenly think, oh, I should just turn this into a business. And the problem with that is just because you're good at being a video editor or baking the bread or making what it is that you make, that is not the same skill as building a business. In fact, there's 9 levels that you need to go through to build a business, which I actually discuss in another video that I'll be really happy that you check out. This happens because of this entrepreneurial seizure, this I can do it better than my boss. but without understanding that even if you have 10 years doing your job, that's only one level on the journey of becoming a business owner. And you might have 10 years and one focus. See, the focus isn't on being good at doing something. The reason why your boss doesn't do what you do is because they've got a different focus and a different skill set. See, most business owners start a business and they just bring their whole job mentality with them. They avoid building systems because they think it's just faster if they do it themselves. They avoid doing selling, or they avoid what's needed, and so they need to make a shift. If you want to shift into total freedom, you need to shift from a technician to a manager, but even go further to an entrepreneur. You need to treat your business like a prototype. And let me just explain those three things, because it's important to understand. Many of you might be a technician. You're good at doing something. You're the talent, okay? You're the personal trainer like I was, or the DJ like I was. You might be good at marketing. You're the technician, okay? So you might have done your thing a lot. You might be a video editor or whatever. Or you may have a skill as being a manager. You've led other people. A manager leads technicians, okay? They're very different skill sets, by the way. But none of them are being the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is different to the manager and different to the technician. The entrepreneur is like an architect. The entrepreneur doesn't need to know how to manage people. The entrepreneur doesn't need to know how to do things. An entrepreneur needs to know how to see an opportunity and piece all of the different parts together. The capital with the right people, with the right, you need to piece it together. You need to treat your business like a prototype that you can replicate again and again and again. And you need to build systems so the business can run without you. You must learn to delegate delivery to trained people who can maintain the quality. You must focus on brand and process, not your personal involvement. This is what you must do. So here's the solution. If you found yourself in the same situation that I was in, is you need to build a business that's sellable. By building a business that's sellable, it has to work without you. By building a business that's sellable, you can have this liquidity event where you make 3, 4, 5 years profit in a one transaction. You need to build something that can be sold. The first thing you must do to build something that can be sold is to specialize. Narrow to one core offering that you can deliver repeatedly. It's very difficult to master more than one thing. Okay, you need to master one thing so you become really good at it. You can train a high quality team to do one thing on repeat. Second, by doing one thing, you can standardize. You can document that process so anyone can follow it. Repeatable, systematic, a recipe so that everyone that comes into your business is able to follow the exact process and is able to get the same result. Third, you need to avoid any custom work. Okay, just say no. One of the biggest mistakes I made was someone would say, oh, Chris, you got a marketing agency. Can you do this? Oh, well, we could. And would waste so much time trying to figure that out. And we would have sub-performance instead of realizing what we're really good at, which we were amazing at, is running profitable webinars. That's what we're great at. And we should have just stuck to that, but we were going everywhere else. So say no to it, because even though you get the money, you distract your team and you're not building mastery towards a sellable exit. Third, maybe fourth, what is this? Fifth? I don't know. Anyway, the next one is to make it teachable. Okay, train a team to deliver your service at the high standard. If it's not teachable, if it's not repeatable, it's always going to go back to you or key people, which is a massive mistake that I made. Is when my business partner passed away in 2016, everything was in his head. And so he hadn't passed on to anyone else. So once he left, he was, gone. The next day we couldn't do anything. The next thing you must do is you must build a sales team. Do not be the only one that can sell. This is one way to completely handcuff you to your business, is that all the sales rely on you. If all the sales rely on you, you do not have a business yet. You just don't. You do not have a business, you're self-employed. And the difference between those two is a business runs without you. Self-employed, you are the business owner and you have a job. Next, this is crucial, is whatever you do, ensure that you have positive cash flow right now. You cannot sell a business without predictable, sustainable revenue. And just a side note on that is selling a business is a great thing. Like, I sold my business and I paid off my house. It was the best sale I ever made. But you can't sell a business unless it has cash flow, or you can't sell a business for good money unless it has positive cash flow. So have that positive cash flow. Also, you're never going to have freedom in a business that doesn't spit out cash. Real quick, if you're a driven entrepreneur who's done all the work but still feels stuck, or like you're oscillating between progress and burnout, I've got something really powerful for you. I'm running a live training where I'll show you how to unlock your superconscious so you can finally create the freedom, wealth, and impact you're here for. Hit the link in the show notes to save your spot. And now, back to the episode. Next is make sure that you retain the key people, okay? When my business was sold and when I was able to share it, many people stayed there because they had profit share. Retaining key people is so crucial. Now, you and I both know how hard it is to be an entrepreneur. Absolutely difficult. And many people who are watching this video, they get how difficult that is. They don't want to have to go through the first few levels of being an entrepreneur, but they wouldn't mind to earn a piece and have a share in the business. You don't have to give them, real shares. You can do it in a way that they get a piece of the profit. This does two things. One, they have an actionable investment in making the business work for everyone because they're going to make money. Two, they feel really happy when the business wins. One of the worst things, by the way, as a business owner is celebrating how much money you made with your team only to have them all look at you like, this means nothing to me at all. It's quite a strange thing. So it's much better. You're going to feel much better when you say, yes, we just made $1 million this month. If there's 5 other people on your leadership team who all have a percentage and they're all going, yes, I made money too. The next step is I want you to think like a buyer. Have an outside perspective. Ask, if you didn't already own this business, would you buy it? And whatever the answer is, if the answer is yes, fantastic. If the answer is no, then fix it. You need to have a business that's able to be sold, be able to be bought, because you don't know who's out there waiting to buy it, ready to come in and offer you great money. So make sure you think and like a buyer. Ask, would I buy this if I didn't own it? So here's the freedom formula. First, get clear on your vision. What do you want this business to be? How do you want it to give you the freedom? How much money do you want to make? Second, systems. Get clear and focused systems. Make sure it's predictable and teachable and that anyone can follow it. Make sure you then hire the right people and keep them. These 3 things will equal a business that runs without you. Vision plus systems plus people equals a business that runs without you. If your business depends on you, you actually own a job. If it can run, grow, and thrive without you, you own a business worth selling. If you want to be able to shift into all of the different levels along your entrepreneur journey, I just created an amazing video that can show you that. And I have a training coming up to show you exactly how to do that. If you loved this video and if you're ready to let go of that employee thinking, and really have a business that works without you, give me a thumbs up on this video, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you on one of my trainings. Bye for now. If you got value from today's episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss the real conversations and tools to help you break the cycle so you can create a business and life you actually love. If you're ready for more support, check out the link in the show notes. I'm running a live training where you'll learn how to unlock your superconscious and start scaling with purpose, profit, and peace. And don't forget to follow me on all socials at Chris M. Duncan. Remember, stop solving problems, start creating your future.